What is going on, my fellow Salemites? Welcome back to the channel, the only place where we dissect the drama, expose the secrets, and try to figure out who is coming back from the dead before Dr. Rolf even warms up the resurrection juice. We need to talk about Gwen Vivian. We need to talk about desperation. And most importantly, we need to talk about the return of a legend. Listen, we all know the situation with Gwen lately. She has been spiraling. Let's be real, Gwen is a character who thrives on chaos, but she cannot operate in a vacuum. She is a symbiotic villain. She needs a host. She needs a partner in crime. For the longest time, that was Leo Stark. They were the dynamic duo of dysfunction, the lady whistleblower team from hell. But let's look at the psychology here for a second. With Leo currently tangled up in his own messy web of romance, guilt, and whatever weird love triangle he's got going on with Dimitri, Gwen has been left out in the cold. I've been saying this for weeks in the comments section. Gwen is isolated. And an isolated Gwen is a dangerous Gwen, but she's also a vulnerable one. She realizes that to pull off her next big move, skewering that massive von Leuschner Fortunesh can't do it alone. She needs muscle. She needs brains. But more than that, she needs someone who possesses a level of ruthlessness that even Xander Kyriakis would flinch at. So, the spoilers for next week drop a bomb on us. Gwen decides she needs a new partner. But she doesn't just go to the Salem Inn and hire a random thug. No, she picks up the phone. And the question she asks, it sent chills down my spine. She asks the person on the other end, do you still hate the von Leuschner family as much as before? Now, pause. Take a breath. Who hates the von Leushners? Who has the power, the history, and the sheer audacity to take them on? According to the weekly trailer, the voice on the other end doesn't just say yes. That would be too boring. That would be too simple. The voice answers with a single, guttural, greedy word, more. And guys, it is confirmed. We are not getting a knockoff. We are not getting a recast, no shade to other actors, but there is only one queen. We are getting the return of the iconic, the legendary, Louise Sorel as Vivian Alamain. Can we just get a round of applause in the chat? Louise Sorel is returning during the week of January 26th to 30th, and my calendar is already marked. Let's analyze why this is such a masterstroke of writing. Bringing Vivian back right now is exactly what the show needs. We've been bogged down in some sleepy storylines lately, haven't we? We needed a jolt of electricity. Vivian Alamain is not just a villain, she is an event. She is the woman who buried Carly Manning alive in a coffin with a walkie-talkie just to taunt her. She is the woman who stole embryos. She is a force of nature. But here is my theory on why this specific pairing, Gwen and Vivian's, going to be absolute fire. Think about their personalities. Gwen is the scrappy, British schemer who has always felt like an outsider, fighting for scraps of love and money from the Devereaux family. She has daddy issues. She has abandonment issues. Now look at Vivian. Vivian is the ultimate elitist. She is old money, or at least, she acts like it. She is sophisticated, and she looks down on everyone. But she also loves a good protege. Remember when she took Stefan under her wing? I have a strong feeling that Vivian might look at Gwen and see a younger, messier version of herself. Orange here is the darker theory. Vivian will look at Gwen as a useful idiot. A pawn. Vivian doesn't do partnerships, folks. She does dictatorships. Gwen thinks she is recruiting a partner, but I guarantee you, within 48 hours, Vivian will be the one giving the orders, and Gwen will be realizing she bit off way more than she can chew. Let's dig into the lore. Why does Vivian hate the von Leuschner family? The spoiler says Gwen asks if she still hates them. This implies deep-seated, historical beef. We know the von Leuschner family is tied to immense European wealth, titles, and power. Vivian, being an Alamain, has always been obsessed with two things: accumulating power and destroying anyone who threatens the Alamain legacy. My theory is that decades ago, perhaps in the European social circles or business dealings, the von Leushners humiliated Vivian. Maybe they stole a deal from her. Maybe they insulted her fashion sense, big mistake. Or maybe, just maybe, they hold an asset that Vivian believes rightfully belongs to the Alamains. Now, enter Dimitri von Leuschner. Dimitri has been running around Salem thinking he is the smartest guy in the room. He's got the immunity deal. He's got the inheritance coming provided he stays married to Gwen, right? Or at least, that was the original plan before everything imploded. Dmitry thinks his biggest problem right now is keeping his relationship with Leo's secret or dealing with the legal fallout. He is not expecting Vivian Alamain. Dmitry is going to face an unexpected setback. That is the understatement of the century. You don't have a setback when Vivian arrives, you have a catastrophe. I believe Gwen is going to use Vivian to bypass the legal system entirely. Gwen has tried blackmail, she's tried emotional manipulation. It hasn't worked well enough. Vivian brings a specific skill set to the table: forgery and espionage. The spoilers hint that Vivian is excellent at forging documents. This is classic soap opera gold. Why go to court when you can just rewrite the will? Why fight for a divorce settlement when you can forge a document stating that Dmitry signed over his power of attorney to his loving wife Gwen days ago? I can see the scene now. Gwen is pacing nervously, holding a pen, and Vivian is sitting there with a martini, rolling her eyes, saying, "Oh, give it here, you incompetent girl. I forged treaties for small countries. I can handle a trust fund document. However, because I am a critical thinker and I know how DAYS works, we have to talk about the flaws in this plan. 1. The Ivan factor. You cannot have Vivian without Ivan Marais. Where is he? If Vivian is coming back, is Ivan lurking in the shadows? If he is, the comedy level goes up 1000%. But if he isn't, Vivian might be more unhinged than usual. Ivan is usually the one who reins her in just before she commits actual murder. Without him, Gwen is the only sanity in the room. Let that sink in. Gwen is the stable one. That is a recipe for disaster. 2. The double cross. I am calling it right now. Vivian will help Gwen get the money, but she won't let Gwen keep it. Why would she? Vivian Alamain shares power with no one. I have a theory that by the end of the week, Gwen will think she has won, only to find the bank account empty and Vivian on a private jet to Monte Carlo. This would actually be a great character arc for Gwen to finally be out-schemed by someone better than her. It might humble her, or it might turn her into a full-blown villain like Vivian. 3. The Leo-Stark interaction. We need to talk about Leo. Leo is terrified of dangerous women, but he also respects game. When Leo finds out Gwen has brought Vivian into the mix, he is going to freak out. He knows Vivian's reputation. He knows that Vivian might just decide that Leo is a loose end that needs to be tied up permanently. Imagine the showdown: Vivian versus Leo. The insults, the shade. It would be the most iconic dialogue battle in DAYS history. Leo's snark versus Vivian's icy aristocratic insults. I would pay good money to see that. Let's look at the financial aspect. The spoiler says Vivian will help Gwen regain and maintain control of the assets. This suggests that Dmitry is about to lose everything. If Gwen gets the money, what does she become? She becomes a power player in Salem. She's no longer the grifter, she's the financier. This changes the whole dynamic of the show. Does she buy the Spectator back outright? Does she buy Demera shares? But here is my favorite wild theory. What if the von Leuschner fortune is a lie? Wouldn't it be hilarious if Vivian and Gwen go through all this trouble, forge the documents, destroy Dmitry's life, only to open the vault and find nothing? Debt. IOUs. It would fit the irony of the show perfectly. However, assuming the money is real, Vivian wants her cut. I also wonder if this connects to Stefan. Vivian is Stefan's mother. Stefan is currently dealing with his own Demera drama. If Vivian comes back into town flush with cash or scheming for cash, she is inevitably going to interfere in Stefan's life. Will she approve of Gabby? Spoiler, she never does. Will she try to use Gwen to manipulate Stefan? The web of connections here is endless. So, to wrap this up, next week is not a drill. We are looking at the week of January 26th to 30th as a potential turning point for the winter storylines. Gwen is leveling up. She is trading a sidekick Leo for a mentor Vivian. Dmitry is walking into a trap. And Salem is about to get a whole lot classier and a whole lot deadlier. I want to hear from you. I need your theories in the comments below. Question 1. Do you think Vivian will betray Gwen? Question 2. What is the first thing Vivian should say to Leo Stark? Question 3. Are you excited for Louise Sorrell's return, or do you think the show relies too much on past villains? Personally, I say bring on the villains. The show is always better when the stakes are high and the morals are low. If you enjoyed this breakdown, and you are hyped for the return of Madame Alamain, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you don't miss our breakdown when the episodes actually air. I'll be watching with popcorn and a martini in hand, just like Vivian would want. Until next time, keep your friends close and your scheming partners closer. Peace.